Welcome to another edition of Action Video Game Talk. I'm your host, Scott Action Jackson. Thanks for joining me today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching or listening to this video. I have another list of news articles to go through, so let's hop right into them. Bandai Namco has officially announced a sequel to the DragonBall Xenoverse game. And yes, it's called DragonBall Xenoverse 2. When the tease was first shown, the website itself, the thing they typed in was called Fly Through Time, or something like that. So this should have been a hint that it might have been another sequel to this game. Now, with the teaser, it showed stuff from Bardock, History of Trunks, Lord Slug, and bits and pieces, even from the latest movies that was made, which I guess now we count as not quite canon due to Dragon Ball Super. But this new Xenoverse 2, from the trailer itself, shows that there's going to be like a new hub city that appears to take place on Snake Way. And apparently you're supposed to be protecting the Dragon Ball history. Again. And of course, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, the first time around we had to protect the history. Well, guess what? We're still doing that. Because, for some odd reason, every time when I see something like this, it's like, Xenoverse, the first one, and the second one, all it reminds me of is that old Dragon Ball Online game that was attempted years ago. I think it was... I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but I think it was either a Taiwan or Korean game at first, and they were testing it out. But unfortunately, a lot of people hacked their way into it by making foreign accounts just to be able to play it. And there were many patches and downloads to actually translate the game. But I think due to how popular it was, I think Bandai Namco picked up the idea. I mean, Dragon Ball Online was about going back and trying to fix some errors that happened in the history of Dragon Ball. And that's what Xenoverse and Xenoverse 2 is about. Except Xenoverse 1 was like a duo of bad guys were going back and changing history somehow. For Xenoverse 2, we don't know. We don't know what's going on except for, I guess, the same type of time scrolls are being corrupted somehow. So, I don't know if it was like another demon or something else is going back in time and changing things. But I am looking forward to this game. It is coming out this year, 2016. It didn't say when on the trailer, but it said 2016. So, hearing that, you gotta wonder if, the servers for the first Xenoverse are gonna go down at some point. And one plus side about the Xenoverse 2, it is only going to be current gen and PC only. So the developers and makers do not have to worry about PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. And that right there is going to be a bit of a blessing for them because they can actually focus more on the three versions, the PS4, the Xbox One, and PC editions. Now okay, I admit it. I'm going to be looking for this. I will probably get it day one. Because who knows what kind of bonuses there is going to be for getting it. Either the day one edition like there was for Xenoverse 1. Or maybe some pre-order bonuses themselves, not just a day one edition. I mean, I think the day one edition for the original Xenoverse had additional battle armor. But it was just a separate code inside, and I remember when I got Xenoverse, I made sure I bought the Season Pass. Now, currently, I don't have the Xenoverse game, but that doesn't mean I can't go back and get it still. I mean, I do want to eventually beat the first Xenoverse game, and I wonder if any of your stuff will transfer over to the sequel. So it is official. Batman Return to Arkham is coming out for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and is going to be out July 29th this year, and only for $50. Yes, it is official, and they did release an actual trailer for this, which does show improvements in the graphics. Apparently, the studio porting it over is if I'm reading this right, Virtuos, which is responsible for Final Fantasy X and Heavy Rain remasters. Again, sorry if I got that name wrong. And yes, this is going to have Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and all of the DLC content that came out with those games. Now, the one question here, though, Batman Arkham Asylum, when it came out, there was a piece of Joker DLC content that was exclusive to Sony. Will that DLC content be only on the PS4 version? Or will it be on both PS4 and Xbox One versions? And also with this announcement, no PC release. At least so far. So far there's nothing about a PC release of these remastered games. Which might not need to worry about it. I mean, they were released on PC as far as I remember. Although probably not the Game of the Year editions. So I don't think they really have to worry about PC editions of the Batman Return to Arkham. The price, I have no problem with. I mean, it's $50 to get remasters of 2 games, more or less the 2 main games in the Rocksteady Studios line of Batman, which means you could probably just set it next to the Batman Arkham Knight when it comes out. Well, when this comes out. And I like this. I mean, like the DragonBall Xenoverse 2, I'm probably going to try and get this. Even though the Xenoverse 2 game, we don't know an actual date besides from 2016. This we do. We know it's July 29th, 2016, so a couple months away. So in which case, we have time to get your pre-order in and pay off. There has been rumblings and speculations about another Spider-Man game in development. However, there is also rumors going around lately that Sucker Punch could be working on the next Spider-Man game. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, but doesn't Activision have the rights to that? Well, last I read, they kind of do. I mean, they have. It shows right here what I got down from the news article. Activision locked up the rights to Spider-Man games based on movies and television through 2017, and also has the rights to publish original stories separate from on-screen appearances through 2017. Now, also, a lot of the Spider-Man games did have some, I guess you could say, Sony exclusives. Now, with Sucker Punch, we know Sucker Punch has been mostly working with Sony systems, like the PS3 with Infamous and Infamous 2, and then PlayStation 4 with Infamous Second Son. So, with Sucker Punch's history with superhero games already, even though they're... Yeah, I mean, I would count the Infamous games as superhero-ish. So with that being said, it would probably be in the right hands. I mean, to this day, I've always preferred the first Infamous game over the second one, and love playing Infamous Second Son. As far as like superhero games in the next generation / current gen. Because the Amazing Spider-Man games on the PS4 and I forgot if the first one was on PS4 or not. But I know with Amazing Spider-Man 2, it was amazing what they were able to pull off with the game, but the story itself was a bit lackluster, mostly because the game Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a sequel to the first game. So it wasn't a full movie tie-in. I mean, the only tie-in it probably had was, I think, battling Electro. That's about it. There's also something interesting. There's some kind of word going around with the talks of this Spider-Man game as well, and that word is spectacular. Now, we all know that Spectacular was another line of original comics for Spider-Man. So, if they are trying, like, a different set, like a whole new line of games for Spider-Man, that would be interesting, especially if they tried to go the Spectacular route. And, wow. Sorry, it's just that when I found this news article, there was like so much packed stuff in it. I mean, it was referencing how some of the older Spider-Man games have fallen on heavy times, well, the line that there was already. And the last time that we saw Spider-Man in video game form, one, as I stated, was the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, which, as I stated, the story itself was kind of crap. The gameplay elements, not really. Other than that, we did have the Disney Infinity games, which 2.0 was focused on the Marvel superheroes and had like a Spider-Man playset that you could get that had the standard Spider-Man. Then again, they also had the PlayStation Vita version where you could buy the black costume one. But later on, in the 3.0 edition, you are actually able to buy the black suited Spider-Man separate. Now, as far as that, I had to actually find some way to get a pre-owned black suit Spider-Man from the Vita version that somebody might have probably traded in, because I was that anxious to get my hands on a black suited Spider-Man for Disney Infinity. But I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of Sucker Punch making and working on a Spider-Man game due to what I know that they can actually complete and accomplish with the previous Infamous games. If that's the case, no doubt this would be an awesome Spider-Man game. So speaking of things that are finally official, many people know that a while back Microsoft did like a little poll asking what games they wanted to be backwards compatible for the Xbox One. And one major game was the original Black Ops. Well, now Call of Duty Black Ops is finally playable backwards compatible on the Xbox One. Now, this is kind of both a blessing and a curse, because while there are a lot of people that do still have copies of Black Ops, there are some who don't, who probably go out and try and get a copy of it. Now, for me, somebody who actually works at a game store that sells kind of both new and pre-owned copies, pre-owned, as in, people have already played it and traded in, and, we can sell it to them that way. But we also have it new as part of the 2-pack of Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. In which case, some people are buying it for that reason, to get a new copy of Black Ops. But also, they usually buy it because once in a while, I know lately, it has been about $20. $20 for a new copy of both Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, because I think Black Ops 2 pre-owned is about $30. So yeah, you're saving a lot of money that way. And Black Ops 1 pre-owned is about $10, so at least last I checked. The prices might have gone down or up and down so many times by now. But getting the 2-pack of the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 is always going to be a better deal than trying to get both or one and both pre-owned / used. So for me, this is kind of good news for Call of Duty fans, especially those who love the Black Ops games. However, for me, I don't really give a shit either way. Because I don't have an Xbox One. I have a PlayStation 4. And it still bugs the shit out of me and is fucking annoying that Sony cannot have the PlayStation 4 backwards compatible with physical copies of PlayStation 3 games. It is fucking annoying. Sony, for some odd, stupid reason, could not figure out a way to fix this. But instead, Microsoft has kind of whipped their ass in deciding this. Because Microsoft just now added Black Ops as being backwards compatible, but have also thrown so many good games from 360 that can play on the Xbox One. Like the Left 4 Dead games. Like the Mass Effect games. I'm sure after a while, we'll probably even have we could even have maybe some of the wrestling games. Some of the older wrestling games might be able to at some point. Because Sony, guess what? You dropped the ball. Big time. And I mean big time because Sony, the only way Sony has backwards capability is their stupid PlayStation Now streaming service where you can rent PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 games. Guess what? For as much money as you spend on renting these games, you could go out and buy the games. So yeah, Sony dropped the ball big time on this. Which hopefully Sony can do something about at this year's E3, which is next month. Well, that does it for this episode of Action Video Game Talk. Once again, thanks for joining me today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching or listening to this episode. Down below, if you want, you can leave any comments, questions about the topics that were discussed, whether it's the Black Ops being backwards capable, the Spider-Man Sucker Punch, Batman Return to Arkham, or the Xenoverse 2 game. Plus, I also have the link down below for the Facebook page if you want to go over there and discuss some of the stuff there too. And I think that's about it. So, until next time, bye!